Kitty.
Go.
Kitty, I'm so sorry. I don't play.
Go.
The kitty's trying to get some love too.
Yeah. He just knows your energy's okay. But if you're afraid, he'll go.
Wow.
That's to increase the vibration. Keep the vibration up in the atmosphere.
Yes.
And things like strife, evil, depression, vengefulness, all that stuff, it can't take root in this atmosphere because I keep the vibration high in here. That's why when Marcus moved back in, he could not say in this. He said, "I feel like this is a different home." I said, "It is," because I increased the vibration in here. And if you're coming with anything that is against the vibration being high, you're going to feel it, and you will be repelled from this atmosphere.
Okay, let me ask you about the atmosphere. Today we're talking about, first of all, I really, really appreciate you joining me on my channel. Thank you, Alfred.
Thank you.
People, we're just going to get right straight into it. This is I Am Natural, and we're just showing my friend's face today because this is solely about him doing us a service. Our discussion, our conversation today is about recovery versus addiction.
Yes.
Now, I want to start with the sound bowl because the thing that just happened to my whole body from head to toe, when you took that sound around there and then you lit something, is that sage?
It is sage.
And something happened to me all the way down to my midsection.
Yes.
And it felt good.
Yes.
Is that part of your recovery?
Absolutely.
Please tell me what you are recovering from, Alfred.
Drugs.
Yes, if that's it.
Yeah.
Drugs and alcohol, that's good.
Self-destructive patterns of living are important. It says something in the Narcotics Anonymous literature, higher emotional and higher vibration, emotional, and something to that effect.
Yes.
Sharply affected by the disease.
Sharply affected. Yes.
Love and compassion. Those things were highly affected by the disease of addiction. So when you get to our 11th step, it talks about the eclectic approach to spirituality, and that's where because I have taken bits and pieces. When I first got clean, this lady who was an African sister, just her whole vibe and energy was African. She gave me, her husband went on a run, and while he was out on the run draining the bank account, she packed up the entire house and put a sign in the clubhouse, and she sold everything while he was on his run.
Wow.
So
well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Hold that thought. So you're saying, I'm assuming, for the ones that don't know you, have never seen you before, wait a minute, excuse me, let me get my water. The ones that have never seen you before, wait a minute, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm assuming that you got clean through a 12-step program.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they have 12 steps. Because I hear you talking about steps. For guys, for you that know nothing about recovery and addiction, this is one way. Would you agree?
Yes.
This is one way. There's many ways to get clean and stay clean. So this is a 12-step program that chose him. I like to say chose him because we don't get to choose how we do it. There are many ways. This is one way, and this is Alfred's story. So you can continue, Alfred.
Yeah. So the 11th step in the 12-step program, all of the steps prepare you for your re-entry, your recommitment to whatever spiritual walk that you're on. And
Beautiful.
in that, building upon that relationship, I took on this burning of sage, clearing spaces, the ringing of the bowl, raising vibration in the atmosphere, so things that are lower vibration, addiction and revenge and hatred and all those are low vibration spirits. And if you keep the spirit a high vibration in your atmosphere, you'll get to have peace. I have gotten to have peace, serenity. I suffer from
you're
anxiety.
saying
I can get on here and get that all calmed down. So it really works for me.
So it's spiritual in nature, or
Yes.
is it a disease? because I've heard disease of addiction,
Yeah.
and I've heard spiritual in nature in your sharing a few
Yes.
minutes ago. Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's both.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So why do you think that some
spiritual ailment to me. Yeah, I was sharing that with someone
is something in the air?
at work. It might be the sage.
No, sage never bothers me. It's like something is really excuse us for a minute. So anyway, blissful afternoon. I am in this lovely studio. I'm sorry, Alfred, I'm going to call your place a studio.
Yes, this is called a living gallery. That's what I call it.
Tell us about it.
I call it a living gallery. So, everything in here, because I sell out of here, I live out of here.
Wow.
And, my mother used to always say, you got too much shit up in here. But she didn't know that this became a living gallery, because when she was here in life, there was no paintings except for hers. This is my mother's, and that's my mother's. This is her. Really, that's
So
her.
that's mother.
Yeah.
Did you paint that too?
No. These
Okay.
that's the artwork that my mother had in her
Okay,
house.
so mother wasn't. Oh, that's just artwork she had.
She had.
Okay.
She had in her house. And
Yo,
she told
art
me,
is so fabulous. Can you just tell us about one piece?
okay, so
Which piece we going with?
the one in the middle.
Yes,
It's called Crying
yes,
Blues.
yes.
And remember, when my mother died, I was in
Yes.
mourning a lot. And a lot of those paintings that I did right after that,
Yes.
they all had tears, because I found for me that there was a certain amount of vulnerability, and you could still pull some beauty in art, but you still had to show that your heart was broken. So that's where the tears would come from.
Yes, you
On
have to
those
love
times.
as if you've never been,
Yes.
your heart's never been broken, so
Yes.
to speak.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, it's just so beautiful.
And then when her first grandchild was born, the one right under her picture here,
Yes.
her first grandchild
Yes.
was born. It's called A Star Is Born, because my mother's first grandchild is named after her. Her third grandchild is born on her birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at your signature
Yeah.
on your art.
And it's called Alfredo because my
Alfredo.
mother used to call. Remember my Puerto Rican godparents, Chi-Chi's family?
I don't.
And she
Why
left-
don't I remember?
Because I just told you how my mother couldn't deal with it, and she.
Oh,
sent me
yeah,
to
yeah,
visit.
yeah. Oh, you telling me about it. You
Yes.
asking me. Oh, I thought you was asking me if I remember them
Yes.
personally. But yes,
So
yes.
whenever she would address me
Okay.
after that, she would call me Mom would call me Alfredo.
Wow.
So that's how I signed my pictures, because that was her nickname for me because of my, my Spanish.
Well, thank you for coming this way because I got stuck. Oh,
This is
gosh.
called Indian Summer.
Indian summer.
Yeah, I did a lot. Some of these paintings I did during the pandemic when we couldn't
Wow.
go out.
Tell me about the one eyeball with the tears.
That's all of these. Anything you see with tears is right after my mother passed.
Wow. Okay. I can
Yeah.
see the grieving.
Yeah.
I can see the feeling. I can see emotion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and then if it is anything that's leading up is about heaven and the,
Yes.
the beyond, because I felt like I couldn't really reach her.
Yes.
So I would just do these paintings to
Mm.
handle the feelings.
Tell me about that blue one. Is that Barack Obama?
This is not Barack Obama.
The eyes and the head look just like him.
No. This
Oh,
painting.
okay. I see. Not now.
Excuse me.
Is it the basketball player?
No. This painting. Excuse me. It's called Earth
Yes.
Man.
Earth
Because-
Man.
But the man is MANNN.
Okay.
Like, bro, that kind of
Okay.
thing.
All right.
Okay. And the reason it's called Earth Man, because when you put a black light on this painting, it's the earth. Okay?
Yes.
And we are doing so much to the planet, so much destruction, so much hatred. So much,
Yes.
you got to think about Trump and all of that.
Absolutely.
All of that anger.
I see all of that in
Yeah.
there for some reason.
So when we are doing that and we're putting all of that, it unbalances the earth, because there's a certain amount of love and compassion and all of these things that we're supposed to have for one another
Yeah.
and for the planet.
Yeah.
So I have this painting is not finished.
Okay.
There's going to be a narrative. It's going to be called Earth Man, and then it's going to have some narrative about pollution. And,
Okay. Let me ask you a question about your art process. When it's time to put something down on canvas, Do you know what it's going to be, or you just go with the ideal right there, and then it grows into something, or you know what you're doing when you're going in? No. Okay.
I never know.
So what is okay? Go ahead.
When I start doing something, if I'm having some emotions,
Yes.
joy, happiness, or whatever, or there's something political on the TV
Yes.
that can really inspire me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are
painting is from
when that looks like an African print. Tell me about this one. This
painting
one's
is from
beautiful.
the movie when I went to see Black Panther the first time.
Real. I was going to say I can see the African messages in there.
That's the
Through your
painting.
paint. Wow. Can I touch it? It's so stunning.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I went to see Wakanda Forever, when I went to see Black Panther, when I came home, I started painting all of these because I thought the stuff on the movie was so, the colors,
Everything was on point. Yes.
the richness of the African.
Well, let me ask you one question. First of all, if somebody wanted to find you, because when I laid my eyes on this art, and I was over on the island of Grenada
Yes.
when I first saw it, I said, wow, Alfred is really expressing himself.
Yes.
If somebody wanted to find you and wanted a piece, how would they find you? Do you have
Well, you go on Alfred Benson
on Facebook?
on Facebook.
Okay, Alfred Benson,
And you'll
Facebook.
Still see all my artwork.
Okay, they can click on your photos and just see.
Yeah. click on
Okay,
photos
and
you'll
communicate
see it,
with you
and
through
you'll
there.
communicate with me
Alfred
there.
Benson.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
And if you want to get something or whatever, I don't do really, because people always say, "Oh, well, I want to do a portrait," and I don't do that kind of art.
Yes.
that's a portrait
Yes.
artist. I am not.
That's what I am
I'm
not
an
that.
abstract artist. And I
Absolutely.
work off energy.
You have to allow people to know what type of artist you
Yes.
are. I'm an artist, but I would have to let them know.
Yes,
It's totally different.
I work
Yes.
off energy, mine, yours. Sometimes if people want something in their house, I have to go to your home and just kind of vibe off of your colors and your energy with mine, and then I can come up with something.
So can I ask you that piece right there, that beautiful piece? Yes. How much would that?
This one, because this painting to sell,
Yes.
it would be $1,500.
1,500, and it's
Yes.
well worth it.
Yes, yeah, and plus.
Okay, we're back. We had to sort ourselves out. So we were talking about spirituality or dis-ease of addiction. And you talking about 11th step and things like that. So I'm trusting that you are far along in the process, opposed to somebody would be hearing this for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's a process of getting to your spirit.
Getting to your
So
spirit.
so wait a minute. What would you say to a person that has never heard of the steps yet, and they got a ways to go to get where you talking about? How do they get there? How do they get? Because it's a lot of us out here lost to alcohol and drugs and don't know how to get there.
Well,
How do you get there? How do you get on the path, the journey of recovery?
The journey of recovery. You got to have some willingness. You have to have some major catastrophes as a result of your using that will wake you up, shake you up, in order for you to want change. That's my experience, and hopefully, if anyone is dealing with addiction, they will get their wake-up call, because the universe will provide you a wake-up call, because the nature of it goes absolutely 100% against God's natural order. To me,
Okay.
it goes against God's natural order. So at some point in your self-destruction, you're going to get a wake-up from the universe.
Beautiful.
And that's where you would take your exit into something greater. Recovery.
So can you share with us, Alfred, how long have you been in this process called recovery?
I've been in the process of recovery for 22 years.
Beautiful. So 22 years. You have a relapse story.
I do.
You do, but you made it back, and this time it's 22 years.
No, this time is 10 years.
It's 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you lost some time, 10, 12 years or so,
Yes.
and you're back. Well, welcome back.
Yeah. Well, thank
So
you. Thank
so
you.
happy for
Yeah, it
you.
was 10 years ago. I had a psychotic break during my dialysis.
Oh, okay,
my
so you a
body.
kidney dialysis survivor also?
Yep.
Wow.
Kidney psychotic break as a result of a medication that I was taking, and they found out later on the machine was not processing the medication out of my system, which meant that it was building up. and each time I took it, it had not. When your kidneys, when you pee, that's letting the toxins out of your body from whatever medicine or whatever you've taken, and the toxins weren't being removed, so it developed psychotic features, and I went crazy. During my went crazy, I drank.
Okay, so you done lost your mind over time. What suggestion would you have to people that are coming, trying to find a solid way to stay here, but find themselves going back out and coming back in? What is that, and what can they do? Or is it just important to make it back?
It's important to make it back. I was out for one day and I was back the next. In all, it was probably a 3-day process because I was in the hospital. I must have fallen in here against this brick wall because my whole occipital bone and this whole side of my face was pink and had to be reset.
Really?
Yeah. So I had a really bad psychotic break.
Was that the bottom for you? Was that the last time?
That was the last time, yes. That was psychotic break as a result of medications. Now, people were saying, well, why did you? Because it's not like you consciously went and sat and got a drink. I says, well, here's what I did that I was conscious of. I went to seek psychiatric care that provided me with medication. See?
Okay, so substitute one thing for another thing.
Well, my mother had died. I was grieving.
Oh, well, you was grieving, yes.
I had went on to dialysis, so I was grieving my life. And I was on this machine. And I thought, to me, it made sense that I should seek some kind of psychiatric care with medicine in order to calm down all of my fear, all of my uncertainty, my anger with God. You know, you took my mom, you took this, you know, all of these things had compounded in me. And it said, get a psychiatrist who will administer meds. And in the administering of the meds is what brought on the psychotic break.
So would you say your dialysis, your drug addiction played a part in your kidney failure? Or you don't put those two together? That's just something that happened.
That's something that happened from the gene pool.
Okay.
Okay. Of African Americans with high blood pressure and kidney disease.
Yes.
On my father's side, they have kidney disease, and on my mother, they have blood pressure issues. So these two getting together and producing a life, the baby.
The gene pool, yes.
The gene pool. I went on to dialysis when I was 39 years old.
Okay, so what kind of damage do you think drugs and alcohol did to your life over the years? Because from what I understand, it's a threefold disease: mental, physical, spiritual. What do you think physically it did to you over the years that you can really see or notice about your body? Nobody knows your body better than you do, and you can say, well, I know that's a part of drug use. What was that?
That's good.
Yes, ginger is good. We're smacking. We're sorry.
It probably did not. I had some predetermining things. Like genes.
Okay.
So I think for me, it did not. I probably may. I don't know. May have been able to not suffer with kidney disease had not I been an alcoholic drinking liquor like I had drank.
Okay.
That's just,
So, why do you think? Let's stick with you. Do you know why you used in the first place? Why you gave up on yourself, putting poison in your body day after day? Because we know, and you tell me if you disagree. Everybody is not an addict for sure.
Right.
Some people can have a drink and go home with their families, or go home and sit down somewhere, and then I guess that's what determines an addict. And a non-addict is somebody who just drinks their life away. You find everything you touch and turn into and just every time you have a drink, the whole world turns upside down. I guess that what would separate the addict from the non-addict. So I guess where do you fit in?
Well, I grew up with a family of people who were addicted.
Okay, so it kind of runs through the family.
It definitely runs in my gene pool. As a matter of fact, I was sharing with one of my cousins the first time I ever saw a book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was about 4 or 5, sitting on my grandmother's bed because some program or some legal place had sent her to Alcoholics Anonymous as a result of her alcoholism. And I remember opening that book. Of course, I was too early in life to be able to read or conceive what it was saying, but it was something in me that was drawn to it. Of course, I know now because I am it.
Yes.
But even back then, so of course, and she continued to drink for years and years, well into my adulthood. You know, my grandmother can tell you.
So you was kind of born into this addiction, alcoholism.
And my father was a heroin addict. My biological father was a heroin addict. So...
And I'm so glad. I want to thank you for sharing about the heroin and the alcohol, because some people have a tendency to believe that alcohol is not a drug. And those that cannot function or sitting around, your life is wasted away, those are signs and symptoms of you might not never want to drink or drug ever again. But some of us will ignore the signs and the symptoms. I'm glad you haven't. Now, I'm looking around this beautiful, I'm looking right in back of you. All your beautiful art, which I see as therapy. I want to thank you for walking us through. I hope you don't mind if we attach some of your work to the back end of this video.
That's fine.
Because I see it as healing. Do you use your...
Yes. It's processing. It's healing. It's
all that. All that's medicine.
All that.
That's medicine.
You know, I pay honor on the back of all of my paintings. It says to Vanessa.
And Vanessa is
my mom.
Okay.
Her life, love, and beauty. Because when I started painting after she passed,
yes,
the paintings, I was just hoarding them because I could not, you know. And then one night I was laying in bed. I said, I got it.
Yeah.
Put her name.
Yeah.
Put her information on the back of the painting. And once I did that, I could let him go because she went everywhere that the paintings went. So my mother's name is on the back of all of my paintings.
So you, the artist, is down in the corner. I see it on some of them. And your mother's name on the back. That's a beautiful healing process. Thank you. Okay, so look, because we don't got a lot of time. What, if you could say something to anybody that's out there struggling with drugs or alcohol, and alcohol is a drug, people, what would you say to anybody, young, old, man, woman, child, any country in the world? What would you give them if they seeking help, if they never heard of a support group, if they never heard of that 12-step program you was talking about, or any other way to get clean and stay clean? And there are other ways, clearly. What would you give them a small piece of?
Find some place where you can get in touch with your inner being, because the inner being is pure. It seeks comfort, and it seeks higher things like love and comfort and serenity. Find something where you can get into your inner being, and then ideally your outer stuff will settle down. You may not get to a 12-step program, but if you can get your inner being settled down, you could have some success with stopping whatever substance you're abusing. That's just my
Thank you so much, Alfred. That was straight to the point. I can't thank you enough. I love you. Until we meet again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.